This new e-commerce channel is currently the single greatest leverage for e-commerce brands that are selling specifically to Europe, and it's so untapped right now. There are so very few competitors in it that it works almost like paid ads in 2015. Yes, you can easily print 10, 12, 15, even 20x ROAS with just a few clicks. And before I click off this video and think that it's a clickbait, allow me to share my screen, explain you how it works, why it works so well, and why over 300 fastest growing brands in Europe of all sizes are already secretly using it. Most of the e-commerce brands and dropshipping stores and any online business are scaling through the same tactics. Typically, they heavily rely on paid ads or any other traffic channels. Typically, they run traffic from Meta, Facebook ads, Instagram. Some brands are really successful at Google ads. Some brands are running Pinterest ads. Some brands rely on content marketing, organic, influencer marketing, or something like that. But that process is very similar, more or less. And then they're sending this traffic to their landing pages on their store. Typically, that's on Shopify, WooCommerce, or custom-built stores, or any other setup. And then they start capturing email addresses of their visitors. I know this drawing looks really simple and oversimplified, but that's the whole point. And then they capture their visitor emails. And that's where things really get interesting, because most of the serious brands that are scaling online actually make their real revenue on the back end. Very few successful brands actually expect to make serious amounts of money on the front end. Typically, the reality is nowadays that making serious money on the front end with paid ads is nearly impossible because the ad costs are up right now, the CPMs are very high, and most of the 9 and 8, 9 and 10 figure brands, they're absolutely fine with 1.2, 1.5x ROAS just to get the customer, just to convert it and break even on the front end, so they can start making real revenue on the back end with their email marketing. And then they're typically, once they capture the visitor's email, they start sending email flows, which typically consists of multiple steps. Like email number 1 is typically just a reminder. Then after 24 hours, they send another email, which typically showcases the best sellers of their products or some customer reviews. And then they probably run some promotions, some discounts, some coupon code, just to convert that visitor. And then they collect this email list of tens of thousands of people or hundreds of thousands of emails. And then they start sending email campaigns to those lists on a weekly basis, maybe on a daily basis, depending on the brand size and the segments of emails they have. And that's where they start making real revenue and juicy profits. However, here's the biggest bottleneck. The biggest bottleneck is that nowadays only about 20 to 30% of people open their emails. And that's the reality, because email is not as effective as it used to be. And it's really difficult to reach all the people on email. That's impossible, essentially. So here's the biggest bottleneck. 80% of people, which is majority of their list, gets right here, and they are not opening their emails. So what they can do is run some SMS campaigns, and many brands do. However, this doesn't work in Europe. SMS is highly ineffective. That's very expensive in Europe, and the conversion rates are not that great. Typically, SMS is considered more like a spam in Europe, and it's very difficult to scale with SMS. So here's the better alternative, and here comes the channel which is so profitable right now, which can literally double their email sales. And we see many brands doubling their email sales with this channel. And that channel is called WhatsApp marketing. Because on WhatsApp, the costs are much cheaper than SMS right now. And they can send highly targeted campaigns with rich media. They can send images, they can send videos, they can send voice notes, they can send product catalogs, they can even send dynamic timers, and a lot more. And they can actually track the open rates. They can see, unlike SMS, they can see how many people opened that WhatsApp campaign. They can see how many people clicked. They can see the conversion rates. They can see everything. They can see the whole buyer's journey, unlike SMS, because that's impossible to see on SMS. Anybody who claims that they can track SMS open rates are lying, because that's technically impossible. You cannot include any code within the SMS. This is just plain text message. So with WhatsApp, the things get really interesting, because most of the people, 99%, 95%, let's say, in Europe, they actively use WhatsApp on a daily basis. And this channel is not saturated right now. It's really untapped. So what would be a much smarter way is use WhatsApp as a fallback channel to their email efforts. So what we typically do with brands right now is, once they send their flows on email, on Klaviyo, or any other software they're using right now, we typically track the email unopeners right here. And then we send highly targeted WhatsApp campaign on the right time. I'm trying to draw WhatsApp right here, and it's really difficult. So here we send a WhatsApp campaign to email unopeners. Then we check the second email. We see people who haven't opened that, which is majority of people again. And then we send another WhatsApp message right here with the right timing, with the right creative, with the right offer that hits and converts that customer. And then we do the same with campaigns. So what brands can do is actually see the email campaign unopeners, which could be really easily done with Klaviyo or any other provider. And then they can reach that majority of people, that 80%, which is a big chunk of audience, with WhatsApp campaigns. And right now, what we see on average is that WhatsApp typically brings about 95 to 97% open rates, which is typical for WhatsApp. Typically, we see 10 to 15% click-through rates. I'm going to write here CTR. And WhatsApp also incurs small cost per each message right now, which is typically from 2 to 10 cents, depending on the region where they're sending it. And on that investment, we typically see on average 18 to 20x ROAS. 18 to 20x ROAS. And that's normal for WhatsApp. It's really just, it's considered on the low end actually, because when you're sending campaign that only costs you, let's say, to reach 1,000 people on WhatsApp, it only costs you like 20 or 30 euros. That's really bonkers. It's actually funny because you can actually convert, I don't know, like 10% of that audience, which would be about 100 people, and all of them will buy your product, let's say at your average order value, which is, I don't know, depending on the brand, like 50 euros or 100 euros. And that's where we get that crazy ROI. And then we repeat this process and we implement WhatsApp as a channel for those e-commerce brands. So I'm going to explain more about it in my future videos. I don't have time to cover all of that in detail. But if you want to learn more about it, you can go to our website. We're official WhatsApp partner. We're official meta tech provider. It's called ZephyrChat. It's the platform that actually scales your revenue with WhatsApp, where you do not pay for it. And you can book a call and just see for yourself a quick demo how it works. And we can literally plug your e-commerce store today. And you can start printing those crazy revenues and ROI with WhatsApp flows and WhatsApp campaigns. So click somewhere on or around this video and go to our website at zephyrchat.com. Just book your call. It's not a pressure sales call. It's nothing like that. It's just a demo to see if we're a good fit. And if we are, we'll just plug this into your e-commerce store on the same day, and you will see your performance skyrocket. Especially if you're selling in Europe, it's kind of like a no-brainer. So see you soon.